Dear journalists, dear followers of our broadcast, we will start with the press conference of 5 parliament speakers. People who are gathered here, if you want to listen to translation, you can use the earphones. But now we will start with the press statements. The Speaker of Estonian Parliament, Lauri Hussar, please.
Thank you very much, dear members of the press. Let me start by once again thanking my colleagues, the speakers of the parliaments of Finland, Latvia, Lithuania and Poland for traveling here to Tartu, as well as the Speaker of Ukraine for participating virtually in today's meeting. And yesterday we marked the 105th anniversary of Tartu Peace Treaty. And during the discussions, we found that the Tartu Peace Treaty had and is a very clear example how to establish the peace with Russia. As during the Tartu Peace Treaty, Soviet Russia was under pressure. And had to really focus on really signing the peace treaty because of this, that they were under sanctions and they were under also the very clear military threat from Estonia. So I think these lessons learned from history 105 years ago is a very good example also for this, how to help Ukraine, how to encourage Ukraine in this war against Russia's aggression, and this is also a very good example what we should do, that we should continue in helping Ukraine militarily, but we should also affect Russia by implementing the new sanctions. And it has been talked today also a lot of this what should be done in helping Ukraine, and I'm very glad that actually we are all here in a very same list how to help Ukraine on winning this war, to bring the situation into this, that the peace will be made under Ukraine's peace formula. And I would like also to a point that we discussed also today about how to tackle Russia's hybrid threats, and especially we talked also Russia's Shadows fleet and what should be done in tackling the problem of Russia's Shadows fleet activity in the Baltic Sea, and we've all agreed this, that the maritime law should be changed, and we should really start the discussion that the maritime law, which regulates also the navigating in the economic waters of the countries, should be changed in a way that the fleet which really wants to destroy the connections between the countries can't act anymore the way like this. And of course we talked about our military cooperation and about our military spendings, and it had been said several times that we should increase our military spendings, and it had been said also several times that the new goal for some of the countries here is almost 5% from the GDP, and it is because of this that we have to finance really our building up our defense capabilities. And these had been only some of the issues, and we will continue discussions, but I would say that I'm very thankful for my colleagues because the discussions were really fruitful. Thank you very much.
The Speaker of Finnish Parliament, Jussi, Halla-aho, please.
Well, first of all, I want to thank our host, Mr. Hussar, for inviting us to Tartu. As everybody knows, Tartu has a very great historical significance for the Finnish people for much the same reasons as it has for the Estonians. I'm grateful that we have had many opportunities to cooperate in in various formats with our Baltic colleagues and also our Nordic colleagues. And over the past 3 years, it has become increasingly clear for the Finnish people and for the Finnish decision makers that Finland is not only one of the 5 Nordic countries, which is our traditional political framework. We are also the 4th Baltic state. We are on the eastern shore of the Baltic Sea, and we share many of the same problems and challenges with our Nordic neighbors. We have had some issues on our eastern border during the war in Ukraine. In 2023, Russia began to deploy third country nationals, mainly from Africa and Middle East, to our border, abusing the asylum mechanism. As a result of this hybrid operation, we closed the entire border in December 23, and it has been closed ever since. Additionally, we have adopted some emergency legislation to give our border authorities more tools to work in situations where it's clear that a hostile actor, in this case Russia, is taking advantage of third country nationals and using them to create problems for our country. There is a very strong commitment in Finland to keep investing in our own defense on the national level and also as a member of the North Atlantic Treaty Organization. And there is also a very strong commitment to keep helping Ukraine as much as we can and for as long as is needed. And one thing that I always want to emphasize in this context is that declarations and big words are not enough. We need actions. We need to increase our physical ability to produce equipment and material, both for our own defense and for helping Ukraine, thereby reducing our dependence and reliance on the United States. It's our key ally, but it's not a healthy situation where we have to be scared every 4 years about the US presidential elections and what impact that they may have on the US commitment to our defense and helping Ukraine. Thank you.
The Speaker of Latvian Parliament, Daiga Mieriņa, please.
Labdien, cienījamie klāt!
Ladies and gentlemen, first of all, I would like to thank my colleague Lauri for the smooth organization of this event and for gathering all of us here at the beautiful University of Tartu, which has been very significant for the history of Latvia as well. As colleagues already mentioned, today we discussed further support for Ukraine, the aggressor's hybrid attacks in our region, the transatlantic relations, as well as connectivity of our region. The conditions of the peace plan must be based on Ukraine's interests, and Ukraine must be present at the negotiation table. At the same time, we understand that the war has a strong influence on Europe as well, and Russia has requested that sanctions be lifted to achieve peace, and we need a strong position regarding how to move on with this. The Tartu Peace Treaty 105 years ago is a testament to the fact that the fiercest battles take place at the final stages of war, and this means that we need to boost our support, military support for Ukraine. At the same time, we need to strengthen our own military industry, our own defense capabilities, both at an individual, member state level and in Europe as a whole. We need to think about how to strengthen our military capabilities and how to build our own military capacity. Ukraine's sovereignty should not become a bargaining chip in the peace talks. We need to think about how to contain the aggressor. And in this context, the 16th sanctions package of the EU is a very significant development. In addition, we need to think about ways to contain the shadow fleet. We have not done enough. If we look at the US has listed 200 vessels in the list of shadow fleet ships, but the EU has only included 70 vessels in its list. We need to do more. In addition, we need to think about sanctions against officials, against energy companies of the aggressor state. We need to combat disinformation. We need to strengthen secondary sanctions and implement trade restrictions. We need consistent diplomatic support for Ukraine for its further integration in the EU and NATO. We will remain the closest allies for Ukraine. For sure, we will be unwavering in our support for Ukraine for as long as necessary and as much as Ukraine will need, as much as we can. We will help in any other way possible as well, of course. All our goals are aligned, and we share these goals. Thank you.
The Speaker of Lithuanian Parliament, Saulius Skvernelis, please.
Gerbiamas kolegos.
Colleagues, first of all, I would like to thank my colleague Lauri for the invitation to Tartu and for the invaluable input of all of you colleagues that you made to strengthening the interparliamentary ties between the Baltic states, Finland, Poland, and Ukraine. With the third anniversary since the beginning of Russia's aggression against Ukraine approaching, we must remember that Ukraine needs stronger and more consistent support for us to continue empowering Ukraine's heroic defense capabilities and to ensure security across Europe. Lithuania continues to further actively contribute through its political and military support and encouragement to all other countries of the democratic world to continue their support to Ukraine. This year, Lithuania will be spending over 3.5% of its GDP on defense, and we have taken a decision that in 2025, as much as 5 to 6% of GDP is planned for defense. This is our contribution to our readiness to respond to any threats and to the joint efforts to enhance the security in the Baltic region and Europe. We are witnessing Russia's continued hybrid attacks in the Baltic Sea aimed at damaging critical infrastructure. This not only poses an immediate threat, but also requires greater coordination and joint action between NATO and European countries. I'm very proud of a very successful project of the Baltic states. On the 9th of February, next Sunday, the Baltic states will connect the electricity grids with the European continental network. It took us a while, but we're almost there, and this is one of the most successful European projects in terms of its significance and speed of implementation in the recent decades. Another important endeavor I wish to stress is a very serious commitment, even more serious than before, to the implementation of the Rail Baltica project. This is not only an economic project. This is an important line of military mobility. Lithuania has been continuing the construction of the European gauge railway line from Kaunas to Latvia, and hopefully our neighbors will also continue with our endeavors to have real outcomes. Our partnership and strategic cooperation with the US is crucial for ensuring security and stability. However, we see that Europe must assume greater responsibility, especially in the light of the changing US policies. Finally, I wish to highlight our continued support for democratic reforms in Moldova, Georgia, and Armenia, and assure our further support to these countries, as well as our backing for the Belarusian democratic community and the leaders of the opposition. I want to thank once again my Estonian colleague for the warm hospitality and this welcoming atmosphere.
Polish Parliament, Szymon, Hołownia, please.
Thank you so much. First of all, I want to once again thank my dear friend Lauri to continue this format I started in June last year in my hometown, Białystok. I think it's very important for us leaders not to stay only in capital towns, but to go further, to go to the cities where people do live actually their everyday lives, to meet with youth, to discuss all the things concerning our presence and future. So thank you once again for your consistency, for your dedication, and for your hospitality and great organization, Lauri. Poland and Polish standing is, I hope, very clear during last months, years. We want to underline and we want to reiterate that we are not only Eastern Europe country, but we are Northern Europe country. We are Baltic states. We are not have to join this Baltic states club because we are already in it. Situation changed completely when our friends from Sweden and Finland joined European Union. Right now, Baltic Sea is inner sea of NATO alliance, and we have to share our responsibility for the safety in the region, for the safety in Baltic Sea. That's why we will be active partner of our colleagues in keeping Baltic safe. You all know that on 14th of January there was a summit in Helsinki when NATO countries, Baltic countries, decided to start this Baltic Sentry project for 90 days of Navy policing of the Baltic Sea. And I think that we should support our governments on every level to make this project not only for 90 days, but for good, to stay with this for good and to intensify our efforts to keep Baltic safe. It's a crucial thing for us because these hybrid threats from the shadow fleet, my colleagues already mentioned, it's absolutely crucial to keep us safe because Russians are not only transporting oil, as my colleagues said, they are transporting, all the sabotage materials. They can do espionage using this shadow fleet. We have to stop them. And Lauri is absolutely right when he's saying that we should do something with changing maritime law because we do have on the other side guys who are not even trying to respect any kind of law. We should adapt to them. If evil people, if bad people are trying to change their practices and they are developing their bad ideas, we should follow them. And sometimes we should be even, first. We should predict what they will be happening and be ready to react. Of course, we underlined during our discussion how important it is to connect our countries when it comes to infrastructure, Rail Baltica, Via Baltica, the road system. We have to be together. We have to build together logistic facilities for our military. We should And this is the very important thing, and my colleagues already mentioned it. We have to cooperate on when it comes to creating new defense technologies, when it comes to building our common European industry, military industry. Right now, as Europe, we are spending 80%. We are sending 80% of our defense expenditure abroad, to United States, to other countries, 80%. Big piece of this money should stay in European Union, help us develop our industries, help us give jobs to our people, help us I would say, develop our scientific centers, research centers. We should use this money wisely. There is a time in our relation with Ukraine to open not only dimension of supporting and help. Of course, Ukraine is at war, and the help is most needed. And Poland already spent equal of 5% of GDP, of its GDP, to help Ukrainians, military, and when it comes to refugees who came to Poland to live there. And we are very proud of it, and we are very determined to continue this support. But we have to discover new dimension of our relations with Ukraine. I mean cooperation. I mean working together. I mean making businesses together. I mean showing profits to our people on both sides that they can cooperate. It's crucially important because right now, right here, we are building new shape of Europe, of European Union. We are at the very beginning of this process. That's why I must say, and this is publicly known, that during Polish presidency in the European Union, we will be proud to help Ukraine to open the first cluster, fundamental values. There is ambition from the Ukrainian side to open 3 clusters, internal market, external relations. So we will be helping our Ukrainian friends to do so because Ukraine in European Union is European reason of state right now. And we will be helping others. Armenia was mentioned. My colleagues were visiting Armenia a couple of days ago and came with the strong dedication that we should support Armenian democratic forces to join European Union. We should do the same with Montenegro. We should do the same with Albania, with all the countries who want to join our family, because well-prepared enlargement of European Union will be the pillar of stability for our next generations. I'm really glad that we are actively using this format, and I'm really glad that Jussi Halla-aho from Finland joined us. It's a pity that due of his constitutional duties, Ruslan Stefanchuk was not able to be here, but I hope that this is not the last time we met in this format, because it's much more than a political format. I could say that when we have this opportunity to meet and talk, we are a group of friends right now. I know that it's very difficult to put the concept of friendship into politics, but let me take this risk and say that there is something much more than politics. It's I would say partnership, maybe friendship. We have to be like one fist here and now, and we have to show Putin that he won't be able to divide us. Poland is a proud northern country. Poland is proud Baltic country, and I'm really happy that I had this opportunity to be here in Tartu, in such an important place also for Polish history. I don't know if you know that even Józef Piłsudski was just about to study at Tartu University. Stefan Batory has our king has its own commemoration here. So I feel like home. Sorry if it is too much. Our king, yeah, because we share the king with Saulius, and we share the one big piece of our history. So, okay, this was history. Right now, let's build Rail Baltica together, and it will be the best thing we can do. Thank you so much.
And now we have time for at least one, maybe 2 questions. We also have here the ambassador of Ukraine in Estonia. Maksym Kononenko, and he is also ready to answer your questions. When you ask, please say your name, the company you represent, and to whom your question is addressed. Please ask in English and through the microphone we give you. Who wants to ask?
I just want to point one thing that the news of today's press conference is that Poland is a Nordic country, and I really thank you, Szymon, actually for this very courage statement. I would say that this cooperation, what do we have now in between these 6 countries, including Ukraine, is a very special one, and we are really like-minded countries with same ideals, and these ideals is actually connecting us, and also I think it is providing a lot of for all of us in the future, and of course especially security, which is our main concern in a moment.
Okay, I still see no hands. Then the press conference is over. Thank you, everybody.